Unfortunately, we all need a doctor somewhere along the line, and pretty much Claude is no different. So I came across this video yesterday from Duncan. He talked about using this, and I love improving my own system and pretty much wanted to see how it works. Again, I haven't tested this whatsoever, and all I've done here at this moment in time is pretty much got to open up and explain a bit of what it does. So before we jump into that, if we quickly open up this, and you can see obviously there's an article over here, and again it's reference new rules and context engineering for Claude 5 models. Go through this. I'm not going to bore you all by going through it. I want to show, I suppose, real life how it works and what it actually gives me. So what we're going to do is glance at this in a minute, but we're going to get this to actually just do something. So let's / let me spell it right, and we'll be flying it, and that's it. I'm not doing anything else. I want to see what it actually gives me back in terms of, I suppose, the entire system. I don't know if it grades it. I don't know what actually happens. The TLDR, I suppose, of this, again, I got AI just to do this for this video, is the biggest message is we're stop trying to control Claude with lots of rules. Again, this was a major problem that I was doing early on in my, I suppose, Claude days. Maybe I'm still doing a little bit of this now at this moment in time. The key lessons are use fewer instructions. Anthropic removed 80% of Claude's system prompt with no drop in performance. Give goals, not rigid rules. Now, I like to give goals sign kind of thing. Instead of never do X, tell Claude what a good result looks like. I found a little bit of a problem here at times. What happens is it just keeps going around and around and around, and it doesn't really fix the problem. And for me, it just eats up credits. So again, keep a close eye on that. Split information up. Don't put everything in one massive Claude. And this was one of my biggest problems that I've done at the very early days. I had a CLAUDE.md file that was pretty much, I think, using up 30%, 40% of my actual context window every time I loaded a session, and it was crippling. So I gave Claude basically some of the key things it needed to run, and linked out where you need to find other information when needed. So again, every single skill that I use went in my Claude, read the entire folder. Some of the stuff I didn't even need and had to go through it to get to the point where I needed. Now, as I said, I just pointed exactly where it needs to go, and that's it. I think this is a massive thing. Split up information. It will be a game changer for your tokens, for definite. Overall, just organizational, keep things much easier. Only load what's needed. So again, Claude is good at finding the right information when it needs it, so don't overload its context from the start. Now, again, I think here it's almost like an employee side of things. You need to make sure that the information is structured. Don't just tell Claude to find a random thing, especially if you're looking for it to give you some sort of key information. You need to have some structure. It's the same way you wouldn't get a new staff member or something to give me this week's sales and not give it the information where to get it. It could just randomly go to a website, your Stripe account. It could go to a Google Excel sheet, something like that. So again, that's something that you need a bit more, I suppose, hands-on as well and understanding. Avoid repeating yourself. If a tool explains how it works, don't repeat those instructions. Again, a problem I suffer massively with is over-explaining and just repeating myself, and I've probably done it in this video anyway. Use real references instead of long descriptions. Give Claude code, HTML, mockups, documents, rather than trying to explain everything in text. Now, I like this and I dislike it. The reason I like it is because obviously it makes sense if you're explaining what you want, like in terms of, I don't know, just say a website. It's better to give examples. The problem then can happen is it can just start to copy them examples, or what's worse is because you're given an image, it's going to start eating up tokens as well on you. So there's a bit of a balancing act between that. Don't give it like 40 images of a website that you really like and expect it to create something completely different for you, because it's not. It's going to use them as references. So again, be cautious of what you're doing. A lot of AI is starting to be built now in a way that seems to be pushing a lot of ways to actually use tokens, and certain things like that are just going to cripple you. If you're on the lower plans like I am, it's going to cripple what you're actually doing. And this is still working away. So trust newer models more. Again, Claude 5 is much better at making sensible decisions than older versions. Now, obviously, that's self-explanatory, I suppose, to an extent, that newer models are going to be improving, similar with cars. However, older models will work for certain things. So if you're doing, I suppose, automations where it has a strict rule, it has to go get this, bring it here, move it over here, and this is it, then I think that's massive. You can reduce what you should use or what model you use, because at the end of the day, it's going to it's a process it has to follow. It doesn't have to do anything complicated. It knows we have to go to A, go to B, go to C, go back to A again. We're done. Again, you can drop your, I suppose, the types of model. You don't need to use Opus 5 or Fable or anything. You could probably drop it right down to Sonam or Opus 4 point, whatever it is, again, if you wanted to. Again, just saves your tokens and helps, I suppose, you as the owner. So what I'm going to do is I'll come back to this in a few minutes, and as soon as we'll have some sort of information, I suppose, to work with. Okay, so this took in total probably about 5 minutes to do, and you can see here what it's done is given us a overall health. So I quickly see, can I zoom in a little bit in this? And hopefully you can see some of it. So summary, your setup is structurally healthy. Every config file parses, no broken edges, no problems, hooks. The real issue is context bloat. Again, another big problem still I'm having, and I thought I would have originally fixed this, but hey ho, I haven't. 16,000 tokens load before you type anything, and your skill list is roughly 3x over its budget, which is why several skills, you can see them all here, currently show up with their description stripped. Routing to them is already degraded. Everything proposed below is reversible. 50 sessions over 7 days, 10,000 transcript lines, one project, lifetime counters over 178 startups. So you can see it goes through each area. So we can trim our CLAUDE.md project by 2.1 thousand. Skill listing is 50 skills, and again, over budget, we need to trim this. Memory, again, I think this was a big problem for me, because instead of getting it rules, I suppose, put in hard coded into files, what was happening to me was I was pretty much just getting it to remember all the time. Now, when it comes to skills, you can see here some of these. Now, this is where I would fight back a little bit. So I think my B-roll carousels I use, the skill creator, obviously I want to keep. I don't want to remove that, but it's telling me to remove these. They're not needed. Competitor watch, you can see keep. CLAUDE.md documents it as an unintended daily runner. A 0 here probably means the schedule never fired, which is true. I don't use this as often. It's one of these things you almost build and almost forget, I suppose, to a certain extent. Hyperframes, keep subskills of the hyperframe system you started using 2 days ago. 3 uses, again, perfect. We're happy with that. 6 code, but use skills. Keep cheap part of the content system. 34 active skills, keep. So obviously it's going through these, and again, this is a big problem here. So I have Notion connected, but because the MCP is coming up as it needs to be authenticated again, what's happening is it's telling me to remove it because it's not being used. So again, I need to update this, review the connection, and make sure that's done. Google Drive, you can see again we have some things added here. Plugin, MCP connector to Google Drive, see notes below. Ponytail plugin, last 30-day skills, and again remove stable and keep. Goes through each one. System health, it goes through unused extensions, so again disable these. Saves a massive amount of tokens, 1,000 tokens there. If we want to migrate to lazy load, nothing proposed deliberately. The usual move is converting task specific. Is behind. Okay, I need to look at this one for definite anyway. This is something I need to update. Checking and rate auto mode, no permissions is set in any scope. Again, this is what I have for I set this to automatically confirm. You can see it hopefully down here on the right. And so all I've done here is went through everything for us. And check 6 is context heavy components. So skill listing is a major problem, and the CLAUDE.md still is a bit too big. The skill listing is the one that's actively hurting me at the moment. Over budget means entries get truncated, right? And I can confirm from this session that at least 6 of your skills reached me as a bare names and no description at all. So a big problem there. Memory is again. So all I've done here is again I just asked it to kind of give me a score. So you can see here, just give me a score and give me simple terms what needs to be done. So 7 out of 10, again, it's not too bad. Solid, well-built system, one specific problem that's actually costing me. What's good is, I suppose, the things I use on a regular basis. What costs you? You've outgrown your own context budget. So 16,000 tokens load before you type a word. And the skill list is 3x its limit. So Claude Code is silently dropping descriptions to fit 6 of your skills. Currently reach me as bare names. Again, so fix the skill list overflow is going to be my first one. Stop paying twice for your skill routing, and 2 small tidies is your terminal. Claude Code is 2 versions stale. Cloud Update fixes it, and the Notion connection has been sitting with zero use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish up here. I'm going to fix these myself. But it just goes to show, if you find that your overall system is working, I suppose, extremely heavy, and maybe you're wasting tokens, or maybe you're just not sure, and it's good, I suppose, housework to do for your actual system to make sure everything is working the right way it is. And the takeaway, I suppose, from this this article itself is simplify your prompts, organize your knowledge, and let Claude do more of the thinking, and stop you having to constantly remind it in memory and update things like that. So look, if you're interested, I suppose, in learning more about this, you can definitely look at joining the community, talk about AI marketing. But again, focus here is helping business owners use marketing and AI to streamline their entire content process. So look, thanks very much for watching, and I hope everyone has a great day.